So in the last class, we saw very carefully. Srutehe satagunam vidyat mananam mananadapi nitidhyasanam lakshya gunam anantam nirvikalpakam. So how the nitidhyasanam and finally the nirvikalpaka samadhi, that is being highlighted here, that we saw very carefully in the last class. Where now again same nirvikalpaka samadhi is being highlighted in a different way. It is exactly like mind is exactly like a river. If the river is muddy and water keeps flowing, not steady, not stable, will you be able to see any reflection? So to see the reflection on a water surface, the water has to be steady, has to be stable. So also the mind has to be stable in order to see one's own self. Or else the way my mind is, I will assume myself accordingly. It is exactly like the popular traditional example goes, that 5 blind people try to understand what is elephant. So each one of them went. So somebody goes and catch hold of the leg and says elephant is like a pillar, that round smooth pillar. Somebody goes and catches the tail of the elephant and says, look, elephant is like a rope. Somebody touches the surface, let us say back of the elephant, says it is like a wall, huge wall. Somebody trunk comes up with another way. Somebody touches the tooth, comes out another way. So each one of them are right. They are not wrong. But because of their assumption, whatever they have experienced, they could experience rather, they have. Whatever they could experience, based on their capability, understanding, they came up with a conclusion. So also with reference to one's own self. So understanding one's own self can vary from person to person. In fact, same person, place to place. Depends upon the mind. Because always we try to see the reflection of our mind. Have you not observed this point? When you are angry, you assume that everybody is angry or everybody is your object of anger. Because that is how we do it. So to highlight this aspect, in order to make sure that mind is very stable, there is no reflection, there is no agitation, nirvikalpaka samadhi is being highlighted here. With this background, let us read the verse. Nirvikalpaka samadhina sputam brahma tattvam avagamyate dhruvam nanyatha chalataya manogate pratyantara vimishritam bhave. Nirvikalpaka samadhina sputam brahma tattvam avagamyate iti dattu dhruvam na anyatha. So there is no other method. Other than what? Other than nirvikalpaka samadhi. This is being highlighted here. So through this nirvikalpaka samadhi, brahma tattvam sputam avagamyate dhruvam iti. So the truth, the nature of Brahman very clearly will be understood. Because when the mind is stable, you see the reflection very clearly. Like when the water is stable, the moment you go there, you see the reflection clearly, properly. Whereas if there is little bit shake, so your face becomes convex, like seeing the convex mirror, all these different type of mirrors, how what happens. Same thing also, reflection happens through this water. So that's why here it says, no anyatha. Why? It says, chalataya manogatehe pratyantara vimishritam bhavet iti. So chalataya, when mind keeps moving unsteady, so definitely with that unsteady mind, and of course pratyantara vimishritam, so steadiness and unsteadiness, what is the difference? That it keeps intermixing different type of vrittis and pratyas. So there is some type of intermix. So what you don't want to think, that comes. What you want to think, that never comes. So always some type of mixing takes place. So when it starts mixing with other type of thoughts, other type of reflection of perceptions, definitely with that mind, one cannot understand one's own self. Even though 100 times Shastra says, I am Brahman, yes, true, as long as I listen to the teacher, yes, I am Brahman. But Swamiji, I am Brahman, but you understand? You don't understand, Swamiji, what a problem I have. You are a lucky person. In fact, you have everything. Just one day you come and stay with us. You will understand what difficulties I am going through. Handling my parents, look. Handling my spouse, look. Handling my children, look. Handling my boss, look. So everywhere the look word will come, okay? So the fellow is not able to look at. So we'll make sure, please look. Swami, just one day you come and manage with us. In fact, I'll tell the same person, don't worry, I'll come one day to, in fact, I come, no problem. You come one day, manage my situation. Just one day, you manage my situation, okay? Anyway, very funny, but this is the truth, this is the reality. So here, how the mind starts changing by itself. Mind starts intermixing different type of thoughts unknowingly, unconsciously. And with that sort of mind, how will I be able to appreciate myself as limitless, as anandam, happiness? It is impossible. So that is what is being highlighted here. Let us read. Atah samadhastvayatendriya sanna nirantaram santamanah prateche vidvansaya dvantamanadya vidya krutam sadekatva vilokanena. So then, what is to be done? Ataha, therefore, samadhasva. So samadhasva means, may you get into samadhi. May you spend some time for samadhi. So here samadhi you can look at samaha buddhi dhihi. Dhihi buddhi. So where the buddhi, or you have the sameness thinking. So neither you are excited with reference to good thing, nor you are depressed, challenged with reference to bad thing. So with reference to positive, negative. There is no ups and down, there is no jerk. So jerk free thinking. So samadhasya. And what happens? Once this situation comes, yatendriya san. So automatically all the sense organs will be under control. Because sense organs keeps jumping when there is some type of excitement or fear. If there is no sense of loss, nor there is a sense of guilty, nor sense of excitement, loss and excitement, what we say loss and gain, now how can the sense organs will keep jumping? Have you not observed especially a child? When child does not see anything new for some time, especially during this corona, everybody went crazy. So children much more. And of course grown-up people, those who behave like children, they also went much more, don't worry. Because there is nothing interesting for mind. And when a child does not find anything new, any interesting, there is no loss, there is no gain, you will discover child will start sleeping. Child cannot. It's very amazing. You can observe a child. When there is no sense of gain, sense of loss, child sleeps more. However, so here he says, Yatendriya nirantaram santamanaha pratichi. So they are sleeps because of tamas. Here you wake up because of sattva. This is the difference. Santamanaha, peaceful mind. And of course, what happens is like, that's why what you need to do, because of that reason, vidvamsaya dvantam anadi avidyaya krutam sadekatva vilokanena. And because of which, now the person starts spending time with the self. Then only what will happen? Sadekatva vilokanena. Sat ekatva vilokanena. So by understanding oneself as the truth, as the reality, definitely anadi avidya. So anadi avidya, that means that which is anadi, which is avidya, the avidya which is anadi, avidya means the ignorance, that which is anadi, beginningless, gets dvantam, gets destroyed. And of course, in order to destroy that, one need to spend more and more time with one's own self. That's why what is to be done. So he puts out a few points very carefully. So that also we need to look at. Yogasya prathamadvaram bang nirodho parigraha nirasa cha niriha cha nityamekanta shilata. It says, look, the first few things you have to follow. The first step, yogasya dwara. Dwara means door. So you want to go somewhere. Like for example, if you want to come to Himalaya, Deva Bhumi. So you have to pass through Haridwara. So either is Haridwara or Haradwara, okay? So some people say Haradwara, some people say Haridwara. So those who are Vishnu Bhakta, they never say Haradwara, they will say Haridwara. So those who are Shiva Bhakta, they will say Haradwara, not Haridwara. Makes no difference, it's Dwara. So Dwara means entrance, those days. Because nowadays you can straight get in, helicopter wherever you want, okay? But remember, so However, here is said that, so Dwaram means the gate. So the steps. So there are few steps to pass through. Unless and until these are the steps you pass through, jumping will not take place. That's why helicopter is not good. In fact, there is a beautiful observation. I have also heard from few people. Those who go to Kailas Manasarovar with helicopter, they never enjoyed. Because what happens is when you go by helicopter, you don't get a chance to get acclimatized. So when you are helicopter, wow, you like, nice. The moment helicopter lands, you don't enjoy anything. Your breathing problem happens, cold, because acclimatization becomes so problematic there, you will never enjoy anything. Whereas when you start going step by step, definitely tougher, but more than the destination, your journey becomes memorable. And that is the truth, that's the reality. So that's why there is no shortcut. However, here he says, these are the steps to take forward me for my growth, for my understanding. And what are they? First he says, Yogasya Prathamadwaram, the first step. And what is that? Bang Nirodha. So Bang Nirodha means control over speech. Let me not speak unnecessarily. So let me take break whenever it is required, whenever is really important. So first step is Bang Nirodha. Because if speech is not there, I'll tell you 50% problem will be solved. That's why every woman should marry a man who should not speak or who cannot speak. And of course, every man must marry a woman who cannot speak. That is very good actually. No fighting. You understand? Then he says, Swamiji, you are in a different world, please, you don't understand, okay? However, all our problem that gets aggravated because of the unnecessary speech. Because unless and until I talk, nobody will know my intention. Even if by action people can understand, but still it is subject to be interpreted. Subject to different type of interpretation. Some benefit of doubt I will get. Whereas once I articulate, even the politicians, they are very capable of, I didn't mean it. I was misunderstood. I apologize unconditionally. So these are the words politicians they use regularly, oftenly. So here, speech is a very important thing in our life. First, that's why reducing the damage that happens through the speech. For others, also for me. And next thing is, after Bang Nirodha, Aparigraha. So Aparigraha means being contented with whatever one has. I am contented. So developing contentment in myself. I don't crave for anything, anybody. So no more craving in me. It's like when a person knows that going to die. Just imagine. Suppose you know in 1 month time you are going to die. Actually, it's a very blessing, okay? If you know 1 month before you are going to die, you can close anything and everything, okay? You can take care of everybody. Appa, what a memory you leave behind. So that's really something nice. Okay, just imagine. If you are going to die 1 month before, how you will live? So whatever you have, first of all, you will not receive anything from anybody. Even if comes, okay, thank you. You will, in front of or in person goes, I will give you out to others. Whatever you are having, you will give it away. Why to keep it? For what? At least if it is useful to somebody in front of me, or later on, let it go. Let it go away. Because you will never hold on to anything. Even if you have, if you are a sensible person. Of course, only sensible person will come to know that you are going to die, okay? If you are not sensible, no, you will never know. Even if you are dying time, I want to hold, I want to be alive, you understand? And that is what people struggle a lot. However, so also please understand, death is like a shadow with us. The best friend that we have, who is that? The death. Because anytime, every time, that fellow is behind me, sometimes in front of me, okay? Like, sun moves. Sometimes if the sun is up front, shadow behind. If sun happens to be behind, automatically shadow comes to the front. Sometimes side, sometimes front, sometimes behind, you understand? Definitely not above, okay? It can always will be below. Shadow. Here, the death is like a shadow, and any moment we may die. That's why developing this contentment in me, that alam buddhi. So aparigraha. Then after aparigraha comes that nirasa. Nirasa means, asa means, general translation is hopes. So here expectation. So not dependence, not developing dependence on expectation. Generally, a common person's life is completely depend upon expectation. In fact, as long as you are depending upon your expectation, based on that your days moves, you are a common person. So here, freeing yourself from expectation, nirasa. Not that, not having expectation. Oh, I don't have any expectation. So no expectation is not nirasa, because translation can happen, no expectation. Please. Freeing oneself from the dependence of the expectation. Let there be expectation, what's wrong in it? You expect better things so that you do it. If it doesn't happen, you are not. You allow to be unfolded. And is required, you communicate. If you don't, not necessarily at all. And then he says, and nityam Ekanta silata. So this word nityam can be connected to everywhere. So nityam, that bang nirodha, nitya bang nirodha, nitya aparigraha, nitya nirasa. Another one is there, niriha. So niriha means making yourself, freeing yourself from the unnecessary activities. And of course, always nityam, always, not once in a while. Yes, I do everything, all these above things, once in a while, no, continuously. Then finally comes ekanta shilata. So ekanta shilata means that enjoying aloneness. Enjoying aloneness. So developing the attitude of living alone. That's sometimes dangerous, okay? Please understand. Because once you start living with yourself, you will never like to, adjust with anybody, anything. That's why you have to learn to adjust without disturbing others. And of course, without disturbing yourself. Both. So that is called maturity. You don't have to disturb others. Also, you need not be disturbed either. So how you do what you do, that's why you have to be sensible. And when all this thing happens, automatically. But generally, you develop being alone because of some issues in you, not out of understanding, not out of maturity. So when you are alone, because of some issues, definitely you will be intolerant to many things in your life. Whereas when you develop this aloneness, and this becomes an attitude, healthy attitude in you, remember, you will never become intolerant to anybody in your life. These are the things to be looked at. Let us read the next. Ekantasthiti nirindriyo paramani hetur dumaschetyatasah samrodhe karanam shamena vilayam yadardhavasana tena nandarsanubhutirachala brahmi sada yoginah tasmat chita nirodha eva satatam karya prayatno mune. Says beautifully, evam satatam karya prayatno mune. So mune, manana silaban, a contemplative person. What should do? So that person always, satatam, constantly, continuously, karya, this is to be done, this is to be practiced, and that to pratnat, with great effort. And what is that? It says, chitta nirodha. Chitta nirodha means, generally we say, controlling the mind. So here, not allowing the mind, when you say controlling mind, means not allowing the mind to move the way it wants. Because, as you know, if you have this olden days television set or radio, very nice thing. Because nowadays digital, so everything is, minutely monitored. Those days with very less channels, that manually you have to do it. Especially radio, very funny. Television, forget. Sometimes television happens, I have noticed. Picture will be from one channel, voice will come from another channel. I don't know whether you people have observed this or not. And the sad part of those days was, this, especially in village areas, is more painful, okay? The antenna, you have to keep adjusting. And in front of your house, if there is a tree, disaster. I don't know how many trees we have got. You cannot believe it. The branches have to be removed. No choice. And especially those days when cricket happens, because Indian guys are crazy for cricket, okay? You don't have to do anything. There will be a group to climb and cut and clear everything. You don't have to do anything. Only your job is to provide the space for them to sit and watch. However, so when the tuning happens, or you keep it, sometimes by itself, this is the point I want to highlight. You keep it, you tune it in one place. You discover after some time, physically you have not touched at all. Because of the unsteadiness of antenna. Even though physically the set of your television set is steady, because of the unsteadiness of antenna, you will discover there will be no clarity. Sometimes pictures will be from one frequency and a voice will come from different frequency. So again, what you need to do? Again, you need to adjust. It's a beautiful example to observe, because nowadays nothing, tuck, 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 tuck. You understand? Either yes or no. So how it happens? Same thing also the mind. So mind keeps catching different type of frequencies. Because we never think thought comes. So the way my receiver, this is called receiving end. The way my receiver is open, accordingly it starts receiving the frequency, the thoughts that keeps moving. Now my job is not to allow, like going for noodles, or forget noodles is not interesting. The best interesting is surfing in the internet. Those days it was worse, nowadays a little better. You are searching something in the internet. You go to one page, from that page you go to another page, then finally you go to some other page. Finally you forget what you started. Have you not observed that? So how it happens? Surfing on the internet. You keep forgetting, keep jumping. You end up in a different place altogether. Unless you keep open the tap, the first tap. Remember this point. Same thing also the mind. You start with one thing. It keeps. And that you call as growth. As long as you are not being challenged. Only your growth is being understood, appreciated when you have been challenged or you go through tough time. So this is what is called Chitta Nirodha. So controlling mind means watching the mind, not allowing the mind to move, keep moving based on the thoughts. Because we have to be very careful, or else, oh, Swamiji, whatever you have talked now, suddenly the Viveka Chudamani is talking entirely differently, whatever you have talked. What is this? So that's why one has to be very careful in this regard. That's why what happens? He says, look, now, this point also he says beautifully that Ekanta Sthiti, why all these things? Ekanta Sthiti Indriya Upparamani Hetu. So when a person lives alone, So because of aloneness, there is nobody. You cannot blame anybody. So automatically, your sense organs are under control, unnecessary, not engaged. But if you are a stupid, you start fighting with, oh God. You understand? That's another level. And some people fight. There is nobody looked at, nobody called. What is this? There is another group. And if somebody comes, why did they come? When they should leave? If there is nobody, you cry. If somebody comes, when they should leave? And you should be many couples, they fight with each other. Oh, I am feeling lonely, especially because of this, this corona. Oh, we are feeling lonely. Nobody comes. We don't have any socializing to each other. Nothing is happening. Only each other is seeing face. How long can we see? Somebody should come. If somebody comes for 1 day, 2 days, third day, when he is going to go? If wife side, husband will ask nicely. Husband will not have that much strength, to be very honest. If wife side, husband will not have strength. But indirectly say, what is the plan? And of course, if it is husband side, wife in just like that. When your mother or her father or your relative is going to leave, will you please let me know? It's very clear, okay? Because the poor lady has to take care of, okay? That's why, nothing else. So being alone, living alone, you don't allow your sense organs to fight unnecessarily, to get engaged unnecessarily. Automatically controlling happens. And because of that reason, Damaha is natural, spontaneous, self-control. That's why when there is nobody, you don't have any other choice other than keeping mouth shut. That's why I see sometimes, especially these elderly people, when they stay alone, they keep quiet completely. But once they find somebody, and if they feel comfortable with that person, Mamma mia, you cannot escape from that person. Just cuddle up, they will talk. Appa. It's very difficult to get out from them. However, Dhamma, then because of that reason, slowly, if there is Dhamma, is a positive way, then because of Dhamma, because of the withdrawal of the sense organs, automatically sarodhe karan chetasa samrodho karanam, mind also calms down. So there is a control over the mind. And of course, because of which samaha happens. Samaha takes place. So mind becomes calm. Then because of that reason, bilayam yadat aham vasanaha. So definitely, when this samaha comes, and because of that reason, aham vasana goes to bilayam. So aham vasana, because when mind is calm, there is nobody to fight, there is nothing to fight, then where is your ahankara? Because you need somebody to fight, na? Especially in family. It's amazing. Family is very amazing. Do you know why? Because there is someone to fight. And remember, don't forget that the life of Pi, the movie, which is a very inspiring movie. I enjoyed that. Do you know why? This is how common people live. That's why it got Oscar award. This is my interpretation, okay? So common people live what? Only because of the fight. If there is no fight, they will die. That's why statistically, after retirement, many people die in the same year. This is a statistic. You look at any animal. The day when any animal gives up, literally, when they give up, they die just like that. Very rarely you will find an animal struggling for life. Very rare. Unless that animal is domesticated. All these dog, cats, nowadays they struggle a lot because they have picked up. But if you look at any animal, I have seen many cows, the day they fall and they try to get up. When they discover they cannot get up with all medicines, whatever you do, they cannot get up, you try to lift, nothing happens. You will discover maximum 1 or 2 days. Once they give up, they give up. But what happens to all human beings? They never give up. Take me to ICU, take me to the ventilator. So make me a vegetable. I would like to live like a vegetable. I don't want to die. And some crazy people, they want to be alive through the bodies in a coffin. Real screws are missing, or some other screws have been fit. However, so here he says beautifully, then what happens? When aham bhasana, the ego comes down, there is nothing to fight. So resolution of ego takes place. Then automatically what happens? Ananda rasanubhuti achala brahmi sada iti. So that contemplative person, that yogi, he automatically what happens? Starts enjoying the happiness. That too achala, unbroken, continuous. And which is of course this happiness of not something external, of one's own self called Brahman here. That's why what happens, what is to be done? Again he puts Bacham, that next verse 370, which we will see tomorrow. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.